Hello, this is Transformers fan G138, and I'm here with a video review of Transformers Timelines, Botcon exclusive, Rainmakers 3-pack. Now, for those of you who don't know, Timelines, the designation Timelines, is the Botcon Collectors Club figure series. Essentially, they throw in everything under that name. If it's classics, it goes in there. If it's movie, it goes in there. If it's animated, it goes in there. As long as it's a Botcon exclusive, it goes in the Timelines category. Anyway, so these were sold at Botcon this year. I got mine on BigBadToyStore.com if anybody's interested. They sold out rather quickly, actually. I actually missed the first wave that went up. And then I ended up picking up the second wave, which was slightly cheaper to be honest, but it was just luck. So each of these are the classic Seeker mold, so the Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp mold, also used for Acid Storm, which I'll get to that in a minute, but he should be in this set, but he's not, but whatever. So yeah, we got Sunstorm. Nice bright yellow, white, and red detail, like he should be. We've got Blitzstream here. He's kind of I think he's coming more like Thundercracker bluish on the camera. But he's actually like a teal green, kind of some green, some blue. I mean, he's like right in between blue and green. Depending on the lighting, like on the camera, he definitely looks like Thundercracker. Like, I'm looking at the camera right now, and honestly, if I'm looking at this on the camera screen, which I am, this guy looks like Thundercracker. I'll give you that. But without looking on the camera, if I look above, I see this guy. He's definitely greenish. He's got green in him. And sitting next to, on the same shelf as my other Seekers, you definitely know this isn't. Wow, I can't even think of his name now. Thundercracker, because he's much different. It's easier and clearer to see. If I would have thought about it, I would have brought him. And then we've got Hotlink, and this one's definitely purple, much more purple instead of the purple and black of Skywarp. So what I like about this set particularly is they're kind of bland, which they should be according to the original cartoon. What I like even better is they are bland, because it's just an oddity, because some of the Botcon toys I find that they have too many paint apps. I mean, usually you complain about not having enough with Hasbro toys, but with certain Botcon toys, I've actually looked at it and said that's too much. Like, especially on the Soundwave from last year's box set, that has like all the bumper stickers on it. It would have looked much nicer without those. It would have been much nicer if they made it comic accurate and not went with those, oh, we got extra paint apps, what can we do with them? Sometimes you don't need to use them. This is a prime example of you didn't need to use them. And they didn't. And I think that was fantastic. Price-wise, I paid $150 for them approximately. A little bit cheaper, but with shipping, it was a little bit more, so it balances out to about $150. And I love them for that price. I mean, that's approximately a $50 markup from the actual Botcon price. So it equates to $50 a figure, which equates to about the price of each club exclusive now. So I'm happy with the price of these guys. Yes, are they classics Seekers? Yes. Are they a dime a dozen for the molds? Yes. But now I have official Hasbro licensed Rainmakers. I mean, truly only one of these guys is a Rainmaker. And that would be Sunstorm. The others are named after names in Transformers Exiles, which I have yet to read, but it's in my pile of books to read. I just don't have enough time to read them. It's the sequel to Exodus, and that one was fantastic, I thought. But these two apparently appear in that book. Novel, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, they're not really Rainmakers, but they're great for the generic Seekers. In this is where I was saying Acid Storm should be in here, but to be honest, we've already got a toy of that in this mold, so why do more, right? Honestly, I would have much preferred if they took one of these two out and put in a blue, well, I guess this one would cover it, the blue. So if I took Hotlink out here and put Acid Storm in here, it would be fine. You would have all three, but Acid Storm's got a nice shelf on the other end. So I've got like 10 of this mold now, including the Elite Seekers and Starscream Seekers and these Seekers and Acid Storm. And if I can ever get my hands on the Classics version of Ramjet instead of my G2 version, I'll have 11. Anyway, now I've talked for 6 minutes about these characters. Let's, I won't do transformations on all three of them, even though they're really easy. But I'll do a transformation on one, stop the video, and then pull up the video again, so you don't have to watch me transform each individual one, because they're the same. So I'll set these two aside, and we'll transform this guy, because it's Sunstorm, and I like Sunstorm, and he's a bright color. So, start by, well, one, a couple of these things have some mold issues, which happens on Botcon toys, a lot, actually. Nose cones are pretty loose, considering they kind of revamped this mold for the Thundercracker. Like, they redid it. Same mold and everything, but they made it sturdier. This guy's wings are on tight, but there's another one here that isn't, I believe it's Blitzstream. Yeah, it's this wing. This wing is very loose. It wants to wobble back and forth. And it makes me a little nervous, but since these are showpieces and they're not going to be played with a lot, I really don't mind. Which is why Botcon doesn't do tremendous quality control, I think. These also, on this guy only, he's got some nicks in the paint on the launchers. And let's be honest, the launchers are almost the same on each figure, except for the plastic inside. Like, this has yellow plastic inside the white paint. This one will have purple plastic, but otherwise they're painted exactly the same. So some nicks in the paint here on the missile launchers on my Sunstorm, which, you know what, it's no worse than Hasbro does. I will give that. And white paint is easily the hardest to work with. I just hate painting in white paint. So start by taking this off. Flip these wings forward. If you haven't seen this transformation already, I don't know what you're doing wrong. Pull the legs down, split them, rotate these up, flip the wings up. You gotta be careful because these tend to crack on the outsides here. They haven't yet on my Rainmakers, but they have on my Starscream and Skywarp. So flip down the feet, flip in these landing gear, pull this up, flip the arms out, unclip this, spin it around, push it down, clip it in place, close it up, and then pull the nose cone down. Next we want to flip out the hands, which these flip out very nicely on this set, and the arms are nice and tight on the set. I will give them credit for that. And then these can either be held in his hands or clip onto his shoulders, and these are an extreme tight fit on all three of these figures. My Skywarp figure, actually it falls out easily. There's no friction at all. So yep, here's Sunstorm robot mode, and his head moves, you know, and such. But I'll get to that after I transform the other two. Be back in a second. And I'm back. Yes, that was like a second for you and 5 minutes for me. Not really. These took about 10 seconds apiece to transform. yeah, that's what happens when you have this many of this mold and for this long. I got my Starscream in 2007, so I've been playing this with this mold for that long. So yeah. Alright, so you've seen Sunstorm in robot mode. We'll throw them up against Hotlink and Blitzstream. Do a little comparison. Notice that I don't have the other light on here. Can't guarantee this will help. Hopefully that'll shed some extra light on the subject. Alright, so we notice in the abdomen where the Starscream Seekers and the other Seekers tend to have more detail in the chest area. These guys have none, which is ridiculously accurate to the cartoon. These were literally just colored in, like even these parts were colored in the, they were just a single color. They were generic Seekers. The only one named was Sunstorm, which is why they can get away with naming him and putting him as the only Rainmaker, real, true Rainmaker in there. Because let's face it, Hasbro has confirmed that Acid Storm and Sunstorm are both part of the Rainmakers recently. On the back of Acid Storm's package, to be completely honest. Let's see. So we recently got this guy in Creon figures too. So I have him in Creon. Little did I know is would I actually get this. Also made a custom of this guy, which if anybody's looking for a bad, terrible custom, because he's the worst custom I've ever done, because this is the worst mold ever in my life I've had to paint. So if anybody's interested for a fairly cheap version of this guy, I'm glad to give you mine for a decent price. Maybe, probably not, but I tend to be attached to the ones I paint. But if I get an offer, I will consider it. Now that I'm done hawking my stuff, let's see. I also need to pay for Metroplex somehow. Anyway, so yes, so there's no abdomen detail. They all have the white detail, which, I don't know. Sunstorm definitely should have it. Although I think his arms down here should have been white. But honestly, it's still a fair amount of white, fair amount of black. This guy looks good. If you look up the Dreamwave comics, this guy had a whole featured story arc in them. Jetfire versus this guy. And it was an epic fight. I think it went on for 2 or 3 issues or something. I don't remember exactly. It's been a while since I read them. The thing got canceled shortly after. But it was a good fight. And, you know, their bios, these guys' bios, this guy has a reactor inside him, which messes with his comrade's techwear, apparently. But high output energy, EMP, that sort of thing. Hotlink here spends too much time in the virtual version of Cybertron, apparently. And then Blitzstream here is a gadget. No, basically gadgets there and there. So basically this guy is the Decepticon version of IDW's Skids. Plain and simple. Yes, so would I recommend this set? If you have the rest of the Seekers and you really, really want a complete official Seeker Armada, go for these guys. Hands down, just go for them. I was actually considering buying these at $200 on eBay before I found the one on Big Bad Toy Store, after they sold out the first time. So, yeah. The issue with the Seeker mold, unless you get the feet exactly right, they don't tend to stand, which limits posability, I'll give you that. But they're really nice showpieces. I paid approximately $50 per figure, like I said earlier, and I'm happy with that price. Now, it's probably pretty steep for a lot of people. I mean, it was for me. I mean, I'm set back. I have no idea how I'm going to pay for Metroplex now, but hey, whatever. That should be an interesting thing to try to figure out. So, yeah, So, for those of you who haven't seen a Seeker's mold already, the articulation, ball and socket in the hip, hinge knee with a swivel, a little bit of movement in the foot due to transformation. You got a double hinge in the shoulder, as well as a hinge for transformation. You got a nice friction hinge for the elbow, hinge on the hand so it doesn't rotate or anything, and a limited motion on the head because of this part gets in the way. And that is pretty much, oh, and the wings move a little bit, so you know, you can, whatever. It's not bad. I like these guys. I'm happy with them for $50 a piece. Now, what would have been cool is if they did these out of the Cybertronian Starscream mode. Although, I know they wanted to round out the Classics version of the Seekers, I still think a Sunstorm in that mold would have been cool, too. Anything else I'm missing? I don't think so. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps. My review on these guys is positive. Really like Sunstorm. The other two are cool too. Basically, I've rounded out a decent amount of Seeker Armada. I've got 10 of these guys now. 3 sets of 3 and Acid Storm, which I'm keeping the Botcon ones together, so I could put Acid Storm in this set if I wanted to on my shelf, but he's got a nice place on another shelf right now, and I don't need to disturb him. Anything else? I don't think so, so that concludes my video review. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you around.